a time. I'm Greg. Bernie's holding the camera. Today we're going to talk about a KIOTI tractor that we purchased in the last month.
Yeah.
So this tractor is it's a KC3510.
Yep.
That CK3510. It's a 35 horsepower tractor. Doing our research with it, this tractor is the heaviest in its class in horsepower rating. It has the highest lift capacity in its rating. That's comparable to John Deere, Kubota, and a few other tractors. So it's a good tractor. I got the 4010 loader on it. This loader with this tractor, as it sits, will lift 8 feet. That's the level bucket to level bucket, which is pretty high for a little tractor. All in all, we've put 14 hours on it. We've moved a lot of manure with it. I'm quite impressed with it. The only thing that we're going to have to do to the tractor, she's a little light in the back end, and I don't like wheel weights that go inside, because if you get a flat, you got a lot of crap to handle. So I'm getting these in late the summer or early fall. I'm going to get these calcium filled. That way it's cheaper, and I like calcium filled wheels because you got the weight where you need it. So that's the only, I'm just doing the back ones. But otherwise for all in all, this, it's doing our job really good. It's a hydrostatic, which I like. So we got a backup pedal and a forward pedal, which makes it really, really, really handy. So if you're going forward, then you have to back up, you just switch pedals. With this one, you drop your foot off the pedal, it's like slamming on the brake. Also have just a single brake here. I don't have duals. This orange lever is my park brake. Actually, yeah, it was set. So to really see, you just push the brake and it releases the park brake. So you have to just push that in, or I'm not on it, I can't push hard enough on it. Set the park brake, you just push your foot on the brake, set this, let it click, then you just take your foot off. And then when you're ready to go, you just push it and it falls back automatically, and away you go. So that's one of the main things. We still have a clutch, so you put the clutch in, it kills the power to everything. The gear selector, I got a low, and a medium and a high range. So if you're tilling or doing anything or pushing a lot of dirt or heavy stuff, you have it in low. And just if you're doing, a lot of times I'm just ripping around the yard, I just have it in medium. And if I'm going down the road, I have it in high. My PTO, engage and disengage, I just engage and disengage. Here are my 2 remotes for my back hookups if I'm running an implement. They're there. This is for my 3-point hitch. This is my set indicator. So, you know, if I put it there, it's going to go down to that point and that point only every frickin' time. So you don't have to readjust. And that's just, you know, like a little screw. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I don't, right now I'm not using it, so I have it all the way there. My remote for the bucket. So as I'm sitting here, even without, I don't have an armrest on the tractor, but even that, as you're running the tractor, this is really nice to have it here. A lot of the John Deeres have it, and the other tractors, they have it hooked to almost to the loader, so you're leaning over here, so you're always stretching for your thing, and for your controls for your loader. So this one's right here, so this is really nice. It really makes it. Then also I have a lockout, so you can't move it. You can, if you're doing something, you can lock it so your loader doesn't move, which is kind of nice. And on here, actually, if you're driving in town, I have signal lights, so it's kind of nice to have signals in your on lights, your driving lights, and so that's there. Also, we have 4-ways, so you got the 2 here and the 2 back ones, so people can see you coming. And this is for my DEF, my for the carbon, for the exhaust of carbon. And this is my throttle, and it's in a nice position, easy to get at. Well, most tractors, it's there. This tractor is quite nice because you just usually set your speed at once, then going ahead. I'm just going to get off the I like this display. This is an old analog display, which is nicer than digital because I can always see it. Being without a cab, you can always see like it's already getting scratched, just because you get dirt and stuff on it. Should be doing it with a... So yeah, it's all analog. My fuel gauge, we ran this thing for 14 hours and I'm down to a little bit below the half a tank. So this thing, and I've been working it, so it's really good on fuel. This is for your PTO. This yellow line here is economy, and this other line there is like if you're doing something really hard, you need a lot of power, and then you do it that. Tiller just usually about 15, about the higher one, about 2400 RPM. Otherwise this tractor's pretty good. If you shoot down below here by my feet. So this is my differential lock. So if you're into mud or something, you only got one wheel spinning, you just take your heel as you're driving and you just pull it down and it clicks. Then it locks your differential so both of your back wheels will spin. And once you let it up, it unlocks automatically and you're on your merry way. This is my four-wheel drive. You just pull it up. Now it's disengaged. Now my rear wheels are just drivers only. Then, well, I got to be moving a little bit to engage it. So yeah, most of the time I do run in four-wheel drive in my yard. The only time I take it out is if I'm booting down the road. So if I'm just going down, I take it out of the four-wheel drive because there's no point in me running down the road in road gear and wide open in four-wheel drive. I don't need it, so I disengage it. But if I'm out in the pasture and stuff like that, I leave it in four-wheel drive because we got sandy soil, so it works really good. This one here, this is for my speed for my for my 3-point hitch to lift and lower it. I can this way if I turn it, it slows it down. This way, I think I can't see upside down. Yeah, this way it speed it up. This way I slow it down. It's just your speed control for lifting and lowering. So I don't know where it is set now because I don't have an implement attached to it, so I haven't played with it. Other features, this is your seat for your bounce. I got it set for me, not too bad. So if somebody's a little heavier than me, you might want to crank the tension up a little bit. I lifted it. This one here is to lift and lower your seat. So if I lift off, so you crank it one way, it lifts up, the other way it... Oh, see, now it's lifting. I don't know if you can see that. And this way it lowers it.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
So now it's lowering. And it just gives you how much ride you want. And this is just how stiff you want your ride. I got it pretty much set now so it doesn't bottom out unless I hit really big bumps. In a lot of these classes with the tractor, John Deere doesn't come with an actual hitch. That's an add-on you got to get for them. In this class, in this weight class, for some stupid reason. Oh, I guess my PTO does, or it did work. So my 3-point hitch, these are nice. These, so when you back up and you're not quite, you need that extra ½ an inch, push this down, these telescope. So then when you get it all set up, you just back up until the click. Now she's locked in the proper position. That's factory on these tractors. This is not an add-on. Those are just straight out factory. That is one of the most coolest features I've ever seen on it. My PTO is here. I got my dust cover on it. I leave it on there. That just unscrew it. And then there it is. See, I still got factory grease on it. So there's my PTO. So it's all nice there, nice and clean. And then put my dust cover back on. And the other nice thing about this one too, these bolts are a little tight. This will flip up. I like them nice and tight because that way it doesn't vibrate and rattle. So that way when you're hooking up, you can flip this cover up and then whatever implement you're hooking on, it's just easy to get at it. And then it's easier to, do your hookup. So I thought that was kind of nice, not a solid one. Give it a couple of days, that'll be all nice and loose. Your oil fluid level, check. Nice and handy at a nice spot. Be a little easier if these arms are up. I had them down, but it works really good. Should we pop the hood?
Sure.
Okay, let's pop the hood. Everything on this tractor, I'm not gonna, they tell you that when you do it to lift up the bucket, but I'm not gonna lift the bucket for safety reasons. Okay, to open this hood, there's a little handle here. You just pull it, and it clicks, and you just lift up the hood. I got a rubber gasket going around here, and also I got a rubber gasket running down here and both sides that seal it, so no debris can get through, because on these are actual metal, which I like. These are, they collect a lot of your dirt or bigger leaves and stuff, so you don't get them sucked into the rad. And also, come over here, I have a screen on the inside to protect it, a secondary screen to protect it too, for like, you can see like there's a little bit of grass. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some little bit of grass that snuck up through and it's stuck to the protection part. And you can see I got this here too, but they did this very, very well. I'm quite impressed how they did this. I like it that it seals here to the bottom plate with that rubber gasket. So it really eliminates how much dirt and debris gets in there. This tractor, I got two separate coolers. I don't know which one is which. One's a hydraulic cooler and the other one's a hydrostatic cooler besides the rad cooler.
Where are they?
I don't know which one's which. One here, I think this is the hydraulic cooler, and the other one here, just give me a minute here. I'll show you how you take this thing off. So it's just a little wing nut here. Okay, I'm just going to put it there. And you just take this up. There's a little clip right here, if you can see it. There's just and you kind of lift it up, then you kind of pull it off to the side, and that's why you need the bucket up. But, okay, I'll slide it this way. See there, this is the one cooler. I think this is the hydraulic cooler because it's a smaller one, and this is the hydrostatic cooler. I could be wrong on which one's which. So that's good.
You got grass in there.
Yeah, I have a little bit of grass in there, I know. I had to actually go in the owner's manual, and they actually say it, with all the rubber in there, they said give it a good whack coming down. They don't tell you to, like, you know, like car hoods, you know, you just go click, click. This thing, you got to really slam it, just like a good old Dodge hood. This is my, this burns the carbon out of the exhaust. This tractor, believe it or not, does not smoke, even if you work it really hard. It really does not smoke at all. Otherwise this is just a 3-cylinder tractor. I can't remember the actual cubic inches. I'd have to look in the manual, but yeah, then they're basic. My oil filter, I don't even have to really pop the hood to get at it. It's right there. Like it's easy to get at, and so a lot of things on this tractor are really easy to service.
Is that a block heater?
Oh yeah, where I live, I got a block heater. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right back. If you can see my finger, it's all the way back in there.
Okay, yep.
So that's where the block heater is. The tranny filters, those are my that's my tranny filter for my for the hydrostatic. They're really easy to get at. They use really big filters. Like that filter is about yay long, so it's a pretty big filter. Okay, I'm gonna crawl underneath here. So where am I here? Okay, so this is my filter. So I got some hoses in the way here. Where's my hand? Where's my hand? Okay, so yeah, here's my hand here, the filter. So it's a pretty big filter. It's an easy place to get at. It's underneath the tractor, and it's set in such a way you can't really hit it. So it's really nice. They protect it from getting hit from underneath. The loader. These tractors now come standard with quick attach. So if I want to take it off, I just kind of lift these up and now it's locked again. This quick attach bucket, this is the only one I got now, so I don't really take it off because there's no point. But I'm getting a bale fork and forks, pallet forks for it. So then I'll be constantly changing. This is for the loader. So there's 2 pins that you got to pull. So you remove these little pins here. This swings down. Then this hole should line up with that one. Then you stick your pin back in. And then once you have them down, you set your loader so it sits. You want to do this on hard ground, by the way. Don't want to do it in dirt because soft ground, because it'll sink. Then you're going to have a hard time loading it or putting it back on. Then these pins, you just lift this up, and you pull the pin. I have no weight on my loader, so these pins move in and out really easy. They don't say it, but when I pull these pins the first time, actually I wanted to do it a little while ago. I want to put some anti-seize on it so they don't rust up, so they stay lubricated. So when you go to take it out, they're easy to pull. They don't have to worry about rusting up. That's about the only thing I'm going to do to it that's not required. These are my my controls hoses. They're all color coded, so which makes it really nice. So when you go to put these back on, you're not trying to figure out which hose goes where. The other thing I really liked about this tractor is how they did all the hosing. When they ran it, it's all steel line, all nicely done, and it runs. And they have a protector to protect rocks and stuff from loader, whatever. It's all nicely steel lines, and they even wired the hoses, put this so they don't kink. So I thought that was a really big bonus. They spent a lot of time looking at this tractor. As far as steering goes, it is in the front. It is a hydraulic assist. They put everything up and out of the way, so I'd have to do something really dumb to actually get to hit it. But it's I'm not really going through the bush and worry about stumps and stuff. I'm the type of person, when I cut a tree down, I cut it flush off with the ground, so I'll never have to worry about stumps. Like, everything's really accessible. They put the alternator in a really nice spot. So with the loader up or loader off, it's really easy to get at the alternator. I noticed on some other videos they were bitching about the exhaust coming out the front. I never smelt any fuel burning on this tractor myself. I like it better coming out the front like that, is because I got I'm going to close my hood here for a minute. I have, you got to slam it, by the way. Oh. If you don't give it a good whack, it doesn't want to lock. I've had it pop open a few times. When I got a shelter that's this high, so I can just sneak in there to clean it. And so if I had it coming through the hood, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff I do in the yard. If you got into places where you got to go really low, I love that front exhaust. I never smell it. Have you smelled the exhaust?
No.
No? So there you go. These tires, these are industrial tires. What do you find on big loaders and skid steers and all that? I kind of like them because they're a heavier tire. They're more puncture resistant. Well, they came factory with the tractor actually. But I like them better because it's not like I don't do a lot of pulling heavy equipment like in dirt and stuff, so I don't really need a tractor tire. And I don't want a turf tire, because a turf tire you're always spinning. But these grip really good. They're really tough. They're hard. Not hard. They actually grip really good. But when you're turning on grass and stuff, they don't tear it up, which is nice. They have a little bit more slippage, and when you spin, you don't dig down quite as fast as a tractor tire. But these ones also give me a higher capacity to haul a heavier load. So these on the front, if I had normal tractor tires, if I lifted up something really heavy, they kind of squish out, or the turf tires, they squish out. With these, they don't. They actually hold they're very rigid but soft ride. Like I said before, these back ones, later on this year, they will get calcium filled, because that'll add about 300 pounds per wheel, roughly. and that'll give me my weight for the back end without adding wheel weights, because I hate wheel weights. This rack folds down, so if you're going into someplace high, you back off this nut. This is a tension nut, so it doesn't rattle. So you loosen it off, then you pull this pin, and you just lay it down, and then you get a little bit of extra height, and the rest of it is pretty much solid. If I'm sitting on the tractor and I got a duck, well then I'm going into a place that's too low anyways, so to be going in and out. So that's just my personal preference. My fuel tank, if she comes around the back here, it's not a big gas tank. This thing holds roughly 9 gallons of fuel. It doesn't sound like a very big fuel tank, but actually we ran it for 14 hours and I'm down to about a half a tank. And when I got the tractor, there was an hour on it, so 13 hours on a tank and on a half a tank of fuel. Otherwise that, I think that's probably about it, unless Bernie has any more ideas what she wants to do.
Okay, so we should start up the tractor and let them hear it and see how you start it. And then we should talk about why we chose the KIOTI over, say, a John Deere. Because I think that's important for small farmers and agricultural people.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah. So let me just catch your feet here and see if I can watch you start this puppy.
Okay, so the ignition's on this side.
Whoops. Okay.
So it's nice outside, so if I turn the key back one click, it sets my glow plugs. But it's nice outside, and then plus I had the tractor running earlier today, so I really don't need it. You gotta push the clutch in. Oh, it's running. On the front, I'll show you how high the loader is. Like I said, I measured it the other day. It'll lift. The other day I measured it. It'll lift 8 feet to the bottom of the bucket with level. So I'll do that right now.
Whoa.
So that's an 8-foot. That's an 8-foot lift.
Oh, I can't touch it.
That's an 8-foot lift. So it does really nice. This bucket will overdump. That is done because you can get the backhoe attachment. You can get the backhoe attachment, and the bucket does that. So when you go to, it'll lock it into place so you don't skid around on the front end, just like a big backhoe. So in your hydrostatics, you push the forward, go forward, and then you push the back, go back. Yeah, once you let your foot off, it quits rolling. So you gotta, if you're on a steep incline, you have to set the park brake if you get off the tractor. It's just wise to do it anyways.
There you go.
So if you're on a steep incline, it's always good to set your park brake. It's actually a good reason to set it all the time on any tractor. The only thing I liked about John Deere is they had a park gear, so you could actually put the tractor in park and the thing wouldn't move, which was nice. But this is just as easy, then you're not slamming through trying to get it out of gear and all that nonsense. One of the reasons that we went and got the KIOTI for the size of the tractor, in its class, it was cheaper than a lot of the major other brands, and there was a big difference in pricing. For horsepower wise, in its class, like I said, between all the major brands of American-made tractors, this tractor is actually the heaviest for being a 35 horsepower tractor. It lifts the most in a 35 horsepower tractor, and that's one of the reasons why we're looking at it, because we have cows. If you watch some of our other videos, you've seen them. So if we feed round bales, at least I can pick up a 1,500 pound round bale with this tractor and dump it into a feeder. So without getting a big tractor. So I'm not, we're not taxing out the tractor just to lift up a round bale and dump it into a feeder.
About how much cheaper is this tractor, say, to a John Deere comparable?
A John Deere in this class would have been about $35,000. And we paid, we paid a lot less than that.
Well, we paid under 30 for ours.
We paid under 30 for the tractor.
And that came with a tiller and the bucket.
Well, yeah, the loader, the tiller.
The loader, yeah.
The tiller is a big tiller. It's a 72-inch tiller. We haven't got it yet. It's stuck at the border, unfortunately. We're going to do a video on tilling next week sometime. I got a tiller that's a loaner coming until I get mine, so I'll be running a tiller because I need my garden tilled. So, and we got a big garden. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, put them down below. I'll love to hear your comments. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them best to my ability. As that goes, I've used this tractor. I really liked it. So far, it's given us no problems, and it's been easy to drive. So,
hey, you forgot to tell them where it's made.
Oh, yeah, good idea. This tractor's made in Korea.
There's two Koreas.
Huh?
There's two Koreas.
South Korea.
There you go.
This tractor's made in South Korea. So they've built this tractor very, very well. And the other thing I like this tractor about over some of the American-made tractors is they made this tractor in such a way. I'm a fairly tall person, and well, not really tall, but 5'9", 5'10". But the foot pedals are set in such a way my feet don't get tired, my legs don't get tired. With the John Deere hydrostatic, you got a rocker right here, and it's really uncomfortable to use. Same with the Kubota, they're really uncomfortable to use unless you're driving forward. It's backing up is the hard one. And this way you just go back and forth, you're just moving your foot back and forth. But otherwise that's about all I can say about it for right now. And I'll talk to you later. And just remember, if you got chores to do, just give her, eh? And now I'm gonna head her.
you doing in there? You didn't know it was there?
Nope. The one that we used to run across the lake tonight. The other half is there.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find the other half.
Gotcha.
This tractor, for its size, it has a really sharp turning radius, which I really love. You can get into some really tight spots. This manure is really hard to push. I'm pushing a lot of weight, but yet it does it very easily. I'm very impressed. That's just a little bit of work. I thought I'd show you guys what I can do with it. The only thing I can do is move stuff around with the loader and stuff, but it does it really well. It does it very efficiently, very easy. The controls are very easy to use, and yeah, I really enjoy this tractor.
So who should buy one of these tractors if they needed a tractor?
Any homestead, anybody with 20, or not even, anybody that needs do a lot of yard work, that needs to move stuff, anybody on a small acreage we got 47 acres. So I can run a small square baler with this. I can run a small cutter, so I can cut and bale my own hay and pull a wagon with it to haul them in. So to me, this tractor is big enough for what we do. So maybe in 5 years, it might be a little small. Well, I'll keep this one and I'll probably buy one that's a little bit bigger. But as it goes, this is good, and we enjoy using it so far, and we like it. So
just do a little shout out to whoever the salesman is that sold you that, because he was a real cracker box.
The guy who sold it to us, Pat, I can't remember his last name, because we told him what we needed, and he helped us figure it out. And yeah, and with other stuff that we need, he says if I need filters, oils, anything, he comes by this way all the time. He says if you need any oil, you need any oil filters or filters and stuff, he says just give me a call, I'll run them down, because he has customers down at this area too, so he'll run them down for me free of charge. And that's service. That's a really good sale. It's a year old, like it's last year's model, so we got a screaming deal on it. No, I shouldn't say a screaming deal. We got quite a bit off of it from the new model. There's nothing wrong with it. The old model is the same thing as this one. The only difference is the 2020 model, on the hydrostatic, it has cruise control. I can get it put on this one. I'm not a big fan. Well, I guess it would be kind of nice. But with the hydrostatic, I don't know. If you can't hold your pedal foot, you're tilling and stuff out here. I'm over rough stuff, so even with the big tractor, I don't even, or gear one, well, you got no butt to leave it in that speed, so you're always clutching it to hit when you hit big bumps, and this I could just let off and then continue on. So, but otherwise it's the same as last year's model or this year's model, except a few little bells and whistles, but otherwise there is no difference. So why not?
So people, what I would say, I'm going to just jump in from Greg here. I'm from, actually, oh, wait a second. Oh. Hey, I'm Bernie. I'm the one that's been filming. Sorry for the jumpy camera. Mosquitoes everywhere. What I would say to people is, if you're hobby farming, or if you have an acreage, you have cows, you have horses, it doesn't really matter what, you might want to go for the KIOTI. It's a small tractor, but I tell you, you're going to get a better price than the big ones, as Greg's already said. It's a handy little tractor. Even if you don't want a KIOTI, you might want to take a look at it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And also there's another tractor out there called the Miranda. That one's made in India, and it's also a small tractor. And the one thing that I do want to stress, we called one salesman first before we even talked to, what's his name, Pat?
Yeah. Talked
to Pat, and that salesman had no interest to sell us a small tractor, I can assure you of that. He tried to sell us the one made in India, which I don't have a problem with, but we wanted the KIOTI, we wanted to see it. And he was just like, well, I don't have any, I can't get any, I don't know when I'm going to get any. And when we hung up from him, I said, let's call this other guy. And when we called Pat, he jumped to it, he was snappy, he knew what we wanted, he understood what we wanted, and he was a great salesman. If you don't get what you're looking for from the first guy, go to the next guy, go to the next guy, go to the next guy. Go ahead.
Pat, our salesman, when we talked to him, he says, come down. He says, we got one in the yard. He says, come play with it. You know, come take it for a test drive. Go out in the yard and go play with it for a bit. And that's what we did. We went up there and we talked to Pat for a while. He gave me the keys to the other KIOTI. It was one size smaller with a 25 horse. I got on it, playing around with it, and yeah, after playing around with it, was it 10 minutes on it?
Yeah.
I was sold. And don't get me wrong, I've taken a lot of smaller John Deeres out for a boot, like test driving them and trying them out and stuff like that. As that goes, this KIOTI probably, I would say, would outperform it in the same class in horsepower. Like this will outperform that, you know. But I'm very impressed with it. I've done a lot of work with it. We've done a lot of moving, a lot of dirt, manure. There's this pile.
Yep.
Then there's that other pile. So I cleaned up both of these. This one took me the longest because where I had to dig it out of. We were kind of feeding our cows from the steel shed. So I had to come up through an incline and plus move it out. So it actually was quite the workout for the tractor. You could see how I cleaned it out, and it did a really wonderful job. And the other one was where we were feeding them this year from in the back, and that's all pushed up. And
you have one more pile somewhere, don't you?
No, just the two.
I thought there was
one in the back.
Yeah, there's a
that
little.
That one was there for a while. That one we just re-pushed it.
Can't really see it. Just wait. Wait. And then that's the second pile he did. That was, like he said, that was there. We just re-pushed it and made it into a bit of a pile.
It's have a little bit of a hump here, but it's kind of nice because your feet never go there. You don't drive like this, so it's kind of nice. The reason why I like my loader controls here instead of here, if I have to get off the tractor on this side, well, sometimes you can have something blocked. You're not supposed to get off of this side because, well, there's a reason why they don't put a step here. Because you're not supposed, because if you step up, you can actually hit the pedals. So this side, you can get up on this side just as easy as the other side. But like I said, the controls here, your arm's nice and relaxed, and you can move, you can do all the functions very easily. It's very comfortable. When I cleaned out this pile, I was doing it for what, about an hour, about 2 hours?
Yeah.
So 2 hours running the controls like this, my arms weren't tired. In other tractors, big farm tractors, yeah, it's up here. You're holding your arm like this all day long. It gets tired. You get tired really quick. So this one, yeah, that's probably one of the biggest features that it's here. Also, we have a video of using this tractor to help pull down a few trees when I was cutting them. We had to pull them so they wouldn't hit a power line.
Yeah. It's not up yet, but it will be up the week after we post this video.
Yeah, and then we also will shoot some videos of me going into some of our cattle shelters, cleaning it where I got to drive in the side, so where the roof is like right here, so which makes it really handy not having a stack for an exhaust and coming out the side, like I said, so it makes it really easy. Well, until next time, just remember, if you got chores to do, just give her, eh? And we'll see you later. Have a good night. See that one flying around there? Look at the load of pollen on him.
Yeah.
That's bright orange. Well, that was yellow.